Yeah.
We are live.
Thank you. I'd like to call the meeting to order and acknowledge that we are in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Innu, Cree, and Dakota peoples, and in the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation in Treaty 3 territory. My name is Lynn Nesbitt, and I'm chairing the panel today. Other members of the panel are Brent McIntyre and Maurice Tyrion, both in the committee or in the boardroom. Our assessor is Arif Dostahamid, and our recording secretary is Belen Rojo. We will be hearing applications for revision of the assessment roll in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision is requested have been described in each application, and we will limit discussion to those matters. The statements that are made at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matters must be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by Council and is independent of it and the City Administration. It makes its decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the board's decisions with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or to the Court of Queen's Bench if the matter pertains to the application of exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the board's order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the points of appeal with your property to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony followed by questions that the applicant may have, and then the applicant's testimony followed by questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all of the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today. The session will close after all the applications have been heard, and the board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You'll receive the board's decision by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be part of the public record. We will be hearing items 1, 2, and 5 through 8 on our docket today. Ms. Rojo, please affirm the assessor's and the applicant's testimony.
Mr. Assessor, please state your full name.
Arif Das Mohammed.
And you affirm the evidence you're about to present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll start with item 1 on our docket, 1475 Clarence Avenue. Ms. Rojo, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, there's no one in attendance for this property.
Okay, thank you. So we will move 1475 Clarence, file number 221259, to the end of the docket. We'll now move to item number 2, 711 Kernahan Avenue.
There's no one in attendance for this property.
Thank you. Then we will move file number 221265, 711 Kernahan Avenue to the end of the docket. We'll now move to item 5, 110 Newmarket Boulevard.
Thank you. This applicant is on Zoom and he is admitted into the meeting now.
You're on mute, Mr. DuPont. Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Ms. Rojo, could you please affirm Mr. DuPont's testimony?
Mr. Applicant, would you please state your full name?
Henry DuPont.
And you affirm the evidence you're about to present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Dostahamid, we'll start with you on item number 22655, 110 Newmarket Boulevard.
Okay, Board of Revision file number 22-655. Roll number 030916616000. Address is 110 New Market Boulevard. Roll year is 2023. Reference date is April 1st, 2021. Assessed value is $35,961,000. So I have revised this value a bit, and we'll get to that as I go on through my evidence. Parcel use code for the property is industrial light manufacturing. Number of buildings is 17. Number of premises is 11. Number of stories is 1 to 2. Actual year built and effective years built are between 1959 and 2014. Wall heights range from 8 feet to 80 feet. Zoning is M2 manufacturing general. Land area is 3,701,929 square feet. Plan area is 243,780 square feet, which works out to about 5.6 acres. Gross floor area and leasable area are both 251,172 square feet. Land to plan area is 15.19 to 1. If you turn to page appendix 1, you'll see the map of the property.
Just
Appendix
give
1.
us a minute.
Yeah,
Yeah,
appendix
just give
1.
us a minute to get there.
It starts after page 17 on my actual brief.
Thank you. I'm clicking madly away. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so there's the map of the subject area. It's in the south western quadrant of the city. Page appendix 2 has the parcel layout of the subject property. The following pages have overhead views of the subject property. Again, on page 5 and 6, there's pictures of the different buildings. Page 7, 8, again, overhead views. Same with page 9. On page 10 is street views of the buildings from Google Maps. Same on page 11, page 12, and page 13. And then on page 14 is just the breakdown of the buildings and the different building sections. Going back to my page 3, or sorry, if you go back to my page 2 of the brief, you'll note that there is no sale history on the building. However, on page appendix 16, since the last roll cycle, there has been permitted work improvements undertaking with a total construction declared value of 1.2 million. So that was since the last roll cycle, and that is located on page 16 of my appendix. Right at the bottom, you'll see the last permit there for interior alterations. It was in the value of 1.2 million. Okay, so this property has 4 income streams, and there's a vacant land that issue also. So I don't believe the applicant is contesting the vacant land value. So we've worked out our vacant land value to be $6,438,000. And on page 3 is the comparables we utilize. So you'll see all the sales are prior to the reference date. All comparables are vacant industrial land sales. And the sales price per square foot ranges between $4.25 per square foot and $15.87 per square foot. We utilized a value of $5.09 per square foot. Okay, so the first income stream is vehicle service garage. So on page 4 of my brief are my comparables. So you'll note that all leases are current in relation to the reference date. Year built ranges from 1980 to 2014. Average wall heights range from 17 feet to 21 feet. Leasable areas range from approximately 2,000 square feet to 24,000 square feet. You'll note that these comparables, the bigger ones are, I couldn't find big comparables like the subject property. Subject property has 91,290 square foot of vehicle service garage in there. We just don't have that kind of leasable area for comparables. So what I did, I made some adjustments. On the following page is our workup. This was the original workup that we used to assess the original value. So the original net rental rate was $13.20 per square foot. We're utilizing a 4% vacancy loss, 3% non-recoverable expenses, $6 per square foot vacancy shortfall, and a cap rate of 8%. So this resulted in a estimated value of $21,036,000. On the following page, I revised the net rents because of the large space. Again, economies of scale, a larger space like this would bring in less rent per square foot than a smaller leasable area. So I adjusted that to $11 per square foot for 93,970 square feet. I kept the parameters the same, so this resulted in a revised estimated value of $18,580,000. So that's the first income stream. On the following page is the income stream for the storage warehouse. So there's all my comparables. You'll see that there's quite a few of them. They're all storage warehouse industrial properties. So all leases are current in relation to the reference date. Effective year effective year built ranges from 1952 to 1999. Wall heights range from 12 feet to 29 feet. Leasable areas range at different intervals from approximately 2,000 square feet to 43,000 square feet. Then from approximately 11,400 square feet to approximately 15,300 square feet. And then from 51,000 square feet to 82,000 square feet, all in a similar fashion to the subject in order to compare and the different leasable areas available within the subject property. So the rents range, net rents range from $5.50 per square foot to $13 per square foot. The weighted average net rental for rate for all comparables is $7.26 per square foot. So on the following pages, the workup, so we utilize an overall net rental rate of $5.52 per square foot. Utilize the 3.5% vacancy loss, 3% non-recoverable expenses, $3.85 per square foot for vacancy shortfall, and a cap rate of 7.9%. This resulted in an estimated value of $5,273,000 for the income stream 2, which is the storage warehouse. So on the following page is our office income stream. So this was the original assessed estimated value of $2,752,000 for OFB office quality. Now, if you look at the bottom, I put the definitions for the income streams for the offices. So it is my understanding that this office stream has been incorrectly classified as OFB, where it should have been it should have been OFS. And it's been classified as OFB. So at the bottom, you'll note the class OFB. It's the big thing here to note is it's predominantly located in the downtown area, and this is not. So OFS are all office buildings predominantly located outside of the downtown area, and it encompasses all building qualities. So on the following page, I got some comparables from our office section. So you'll note that all comparables are OFS properties. Again, they're outside of the downtown area. All leases are current in relation to the reference date. Leasable areas range from approximately 51,000 square feet to 55,000 square feet, and approximately 9,600 square feet to approximately 16,400 square feet. Net rents range from $10 per square foot to $15.95 per square foot. The weighted average net rental rate for all comparables here is $13.96. At the bottom is my new workup. I'll utilize a net rental value of $13 per square foot. Utilized 6% vacancy loss, 3% non-recoverable expenses, $8 per square foot for vacancy shortfall, and that's what it is for OFS, is $8 per square foot. And I utilized a cap rate of $6.25%. This resulted in an estimated value of $2,966,000, and that's approximately $214,000 higher than if this building was located downtown. That brings us to our next income stream, which is manufacturing light. So on page 12, I have my comparables there. Again, all comparables are manufacturing warehouses. All leases are current in relation to the reference date. Effective year built ranges from 1979 to 1989. Average wall heights range from 12 feet to 29 feet. Leasable areas range at different intervals in similar fashion to the subject, and in order to compare the different leasable areas available in the subject property. Net rents range from $9 to $14.95 per square foot. The weighted average net rental rate for all comparables is $12.31 here. So on the following pages, the workup, I use the overall net rental rate of $9.90 per square foot, utilize 3.5% vacancy loss, 3% non-recoverable expenses, $3.85 per square foot for vacancy shortfall, and a cap rate of 7.0%. This resulted in an estimated value of $6,900,000 for income stream 4. So on the following page 14 was the original summary of all the income streams, and that resulted in the original assessed value of $35,961,000. On page 15, I have a revised summary, income summary. So putting together all those 4 income streams, this resulted in a revised assessed value of $33,719,000. And then so we are recommending that the revised assessment of $33,719,000 to be confirmed, and we believe this is fair and equitable. This may change to subject to findings of an inspection, which I believe my colleague is Merrick Froelich is going to be setting up sometime, but we just weren't able to get to it at this time before the appeal season started. So I'm open to questions now.
Thank you, Mr. Das Mohammed. Mr. DuPont, the assessor has presented a recommendation to reduce to $33,719,000. I'll start with asking you if you accept that recommendation.
No, I don't.
Okay. All right, then you can proceed with your questions of the assessor.
Thank you. We'll go to the first one, vehicle service garage, with your page 5. So under tenant class, you have C2. What does C2 mean?
Well, it says standard finish, so whatever the standard finish is for a vehicle service garage, that's what the C2 would stand for there.
Do you know whether there's masonry or steel here?
Sorry?
Construction? Is it masonry or steel?
No, as I mentioned in our email conversations, this building's going to need to be inspected. So I'm not familiar with any of the building. The only thing I have right now is on page 14 is the building summary. The sections are there, so it lists some buildings with masonry, some with steel, some with metal. So I'm not familiar with which building is which right now.
But your income approach did not make any allowance for
The income
construction of
approach. Sorry, go ahead, sorry.
so the income approach for the 4 income streams did not show or allow anything for steel or wood construction as well as masonry.
Yes, the model parameters that would be entered in when the time at the time of the buildings were entered into the system, they would have been classified with whatever the structure was at that time.
If we can go to your aerial photos, your appendix would be what page would that be?
They start at 3 and on.
Yeah, okay. Appendix page 3. So the bottom right, that would be the office and the voltage building, is that correct? The white and blue building?
I really can't. I haven't inspected the building, so I can't point out each individual building to tell you what that building is. We would need to conduct an inspection. As I said, Mr. Merrick Frolick is going to be inspecting this property.
And towards the top of the page, you have the building with a brown ceiling, relatively large. That's where you would have the vehicle service garage and a storage warehouse mainly.
I couldn't tell you, Mr. Ducombe.
Now I see quite a few little standalone buildings. Those would be steel or wood. And some of those would be unheated or without water. Would you agree with that?
You had sent me an email with our BA value, and there was one income stream that didn't have. There was 3 buildings. One had no AC, one had no water or AC, and one had only hydro. So the rest all had. And I believe the vehicle service garage, the 91,000 square feet building, had no AC also. So I don't I don't expect a garage to have air conditioning with the doors open most of the time. So to answer your question, there's a 13,700 square foot building with no heat, only hydro. There's a 3,200 square foot building with no water or air conditioning. 4,300 square foot building with no air conditioning, and the vehicle service garage with no air conditioning.
Okay, those 3 that you said, lack utilities, these would be an SWH, storage warehouse?
Yes.
Your photo, page 5. So there's a tall blue and white building, and that would be the voltage building.
I haven't inspected it, but yes, when I looked at the pictures, the street pictures from Google Maps, it did indicate that it was the test building. Yes.
And I believe you have a better photo of it. Towards street views,
Yeah,
page 10.
Yes.
So see at the bottom of the there would be some windows on the 2nd floor of the front building. You see that?
Yes.
And then the other side, so it has a little bit of windows. The other parts have very little windows. the first story has virtually no windows or just little windows. So would you agree those would be mainly warehouses? That would
Uh,
be-
if I say anything, I'd just be speculating, so I can't answer those questions.
Okay, we go back to your report then. So your vehicle service garage, your comparables start on page 4, and you stated you couldn't find any 91,000 square feet, whatever. So
Yeah,
your
there is,
comparables, yeah. So you got 2,000, 3,000 square feet, etc. They're very small. And would you agree also that the subject is in a large lot, and as per the aerial photos, there's a lot of storage, outdoor storage. They're not retail. The vehicle service that they have on the subject properties to repair the hydro cars, but they're not for the public. You would agree with that?
sorry, could you repeat the question?
Would you agree that the subject's service garage is for hydro only, not for public?
Yes, I would imagine it's just for them to fix their vehicles. Just a quick note, I think we're not too far apart on our rents for vehicle garage service. I believe you are asking 1067 and we are at $11, so there's not much of a difference there.
We'll move on to the storage warehouse. Page 7. You start off with a whole bunch of small ones, 3,000, 2,000 square feet. And the subject, skip too far, 61,000. And then you have 3 steel or wood buildings. No, the comparables that you have, those are mainly on major street. I'm doing some echo, so I don't know if you're echoing over there. Can you hear me proper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're cutting in and out a little bit.
Okay. Your page 9.
Sorry, what was the question in regards to the storage warehouse?
But a lot of your comparables are smaller than a subject. You would agree with that?
No, if you look at the on page 9 of my brief, you'll note that there is 4 different premises. So there's one premise that's 61,500 square feet. The other one is 13,700, and the other 2 are 4,300 square feet and smaller. So in my comparables, if you note, the first few comparables are for the bottom 2 leasable areas, and then I have the middle section, which compares the second premise there, and then the last few comparables compare the bigger leasable area. So what I mentioned was I have chosen comparables that are similar in fashion to the subject areas.
Okay, so the 3,200 square feet, your building detail shows one with steel construction, one with wood. So is this one that you have done wood or steel?
My comparables?
No, the subject property.
No, I don't know any details of the subject property. What I'm saying is that when these buildings were entered into the model, they would have been entered in with the parameters of the building. So if it had steel or wood or metal, that's what would have been entered into.
Okay, so you agreed.
Excuse me.
I lost your report. So on. Okay, you agreed that some of the units for the storage warehouse did not have the full utility. So the 13,000 some hundred, that's one without heat, is that correct?
Yes,
So it's steel without heat and no AC naturally. And no water, is that correct?
yes. I'll just mention that you gave me a list of what had heat and what didn't, etc. But you pulled those numbers from our business assessment. So when we did a business assessment, right in there, we indicated what had heat and what didn't have heat. So those parameters were already put into the system. So the model rents that were chosen here have those parameters already in place. So I don't think a lot of storage warehouses have air conditioning in them to begin with. They're just storage. So
Oh, yeah, but the usually buildings with no heat. This would likely be one of those satellite buildings that we see on your map, detached from the main ones.
I'm not sure. It's 82,000 square feet, and I don't see very large buildings. There must be something just outside of that. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I'm sorry.
My question is that building 13,000 some hundred. That is likely one of the satellite buildings, one of the steel buildings
Could be
on the overhead map.
yeah, it could be the 13,700 square foot buildings.
So your comparables that you have above this, do any of those have steel construction and no heat?
I couldn't answer that question. I'm not sure.
So you pick comparables you said to be
Well,
for the size, but you don't know whether it matches for the utilities and the type of construction.
when we choose the comparables, there is no actual parameters that say, okay, pick only buildings with heat or non-heat. These are all storage warehouse buildings. So I'm assuming that some of the storage areas would have no heat. I couldn't tell you.
No, the 3,200 square feet, that would be, the one has no water and no AC. And your comparables be the same. You did not see if any of your comparables had that same attributes as this property. They're 3,200 square feet.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
No, normally when we have a situation like this in the warehouse, and some sections are usually unheated, we usually assess them about 50% of the main building rents. Would you agree with that?
No, I don't know where you're getting that number from.
Would you agree that it's always difficult to get comparable rents for satellite buildings or little buildings on the side that don't have any heat?
No, we do have large complexes. For example, on Hervo, there's one which a whole bunch of little satellite buildings that don't have heat, but because they're owner occupied, we didn't. I can't include them as comparable. So there's no rental income on those.
So here you have tenant class C1 and C2. What's the difference there?
For the C1 is a retail warehouse, so I imagine this is where they would keep their spare parts for transformers that blow out, etc. I'm not sure. But I did mention to you, we need to inspect this building, so I can't give you any specifics on the condition of these buildings right now.
Oh, I'm not asking you to tell me now on this question. What's the difference between a C1 and C2?
Yeah, C1 is a retail warehouse and C2 is a standard finish warehouse.
Okay, a retail
and
warehouse.
Standard storage warehouse, yeah.
A retail warehouse is usually a place like Napa, auto parts, one of your comparables, $17.77. What do you
Yeah.
sell? What do you sell to the public in the front? Would you agree with that?
The comparables that I utilize for that, well. No, they don't. I have the tenants right here and they do not sell to their distribution warehouses. I have the tenant, I've blocked out the tenants for privacy reasons on your briefs, but I do have them here. And these are distribution warehouses.
Would you agree that retail warehouse means that they usually sell to the retail? They usually have a front parking people to
Well,
park.
a retail could be selling to another, they could be wholesale, so is what I'm getting at. So yeah, I'm not sure what the classification, if there is a retail or a wholesale warehouse for standard for a storage warehouse.
So retail warehouse would usually have a higher rent than wholesale warehouse?
No,
Or
I
warehouse?
wouldn't say that. No, I wouldn't say that.
So on page 10, your office.
For example, Costco is a wholesale retail building also. So you can say that you know.
And is Costco valued as retail?
Costco is a wholesaler. It's retail. And you could also say that Napa is a retail, but they only distribute to like parts store, like other retail stores. So they could be a wholesaler selling to other retail stores, but it's still a retail warehouse, I would imagine. But like I said, I can't give you a definition of C1 retail warehouse.
Okay, so the subject office is 16,000 square feet, and the total rentable is 251,000. That's
Sorry,
correct?
where are you right now?
Just general. The office is 16,000 versus the whole complex of 251,000. Is that correct?
I don't know where you are. Which are you talking about? An income stream right now? Where are you getting the?
Page 10. Page 10 is your
Okay, so
start
you're
of the
on
office.
Yes. Okay.
So the office is 16,300 square feet, right?
Correct. Yes.
And the whole complex is 251,000 square feet. Your first page.
Yes.
And normally, when you have warehouse manufacturing, they have 5-10% of office, and it's not valued as a separate income stream. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I would agree with that, but these are separate buildings. So this is the way it's been set up.
So the subject office is 16,000 is in fact 6.4% of the total complex. Is that correct?
Yes, but Mr. Dupont, in your brief, you've also broken it out, and you got a higher rent. So I'm not sure where you're going with this.
I'm saying this should probably have not been valued as a separate income stream.
Maybe, but like I said, it's hard to tell without actually doing an inspection on the property.
This has nothing to do with the inspection. You have a 6% office in the whole big complex. That's office.
Okay.
Now your comparables, none of those would be part of an industrial complex. Is that correct?
If they're multi-tenant, they would be.
Your office.
Oh, sorry.
comparable-
No, the office comparables. No, those were I got those from our office section. So I'm not familiar with those comparables. But like I said, you've already broken it out also, and you've given it a value, and your value for rent is $14.25, where ours is $13. So where we disagree is on the vacancy loss and the shortfall and the cap rate.
So at page 10, you were giving 6.75% cap rate.
Mhm. And that was
you're
for
you-
OFB class, so downtown property.
she was saying it was a superior class in downtown, and now you make it suburban. And page 11, you drop the cap rate to 6.25.
That's what the
Right.
cap rates are for OFS outside of downtown. Downtown, we see more vacancy than the outside of downtown.
Page 16 of your cap rate. Page 16 of your report. The city of Winnipeg, suburban A OFS is 5.6, 6.9, suburban B 5.6 to 6.9. So your high cap rate is 6.9, you use 6.25. And these would be for suburban offices that are not part of an industrial complex. You would agree with that?
So our suburban range from 5.6 to 6.9.
Yet you
was your-
chose a lower cap rate. And those suburban A and B would be usually standalone or part of multiple
I
tenants.
actually, I'm in between the cap rates. So my cap rate is 6.25. And the office is A and B is between 5.6 and 6.9.
CBRE has suburban B 7 to 7.5. Cushman 6.75, 7.75. Would you agree the subject be part of the industrial complex should be on the high end?
No, if they're using it just for office, then why would it be lower or higher when instead of going outside of and renting an office building, they're just in there. So why? Yeah, no, I don't agree with that.
If Hydro moved out of the offices but kept the high voltage building or the rest of the buildings, do you think they'd be able to rent that office to start with?
Sorry?
If Hydro moved out of the office building and they tried to rent it out, but kept the rest of the industrial complex, do you think it'd be able to rent it?
Yes, I don't see why not.
Would it be inferior to the rest of the market that have separate?
No, it would depend on the quality and the quality of the building. So yeah, I don't agree with that.
So the fact is part of an industrial complex.
Yeah, I don't agree with your premise there.
You don't think there should be a?
I don't agree with your premise. I think I've answered your question.
We'll move on to your manufacturing light. So your page 13.
Mhm.
Not this lighting captures the voltage building. Is that correct?
I'm not sure, Mr. DuPont. I haven't inspected the building, the complex.
Is there any manufacturing done in that complex at all?
I can't answer your question, Mr. DuPont.
So then it says it's manufacturing light, but then the tenant class is retail warehouse, storage, mezzanine, and retail warehouse. And so the tenant class does not have any manufacturing there. It's just retail warehouse.
I can't answer, this is what the parameters are. I haven't visited the premise, so I'm not gonna, yeah.
No, but why do you have the heading manufacturing light, but then when you have the three income streams, the retail warehouse or storage?
Well, yeah, I couldn't answer your question.
No, the storage warehouse that you had, SWH, had 485 as your base for 61,000 square feet. So why these rents here are much higher, $9 to $11?
Sorry, what was the question?
the previous category, storage warehouse had rents of $485 for 61,000 square feet.
Mhm.
So why are these particular rents higher at $925 and $11?
Well, because it's a different class, it's manufacturing light, so that's what our manufacturing light parameters are.
And you have the words retail in there. So that
Mhm.
gives it a higher rate because it's supposedly retail.
Well, these are our parameters for that, so I can't answer specifics to it, but that's what they are.
Any additional questions, Mr. Dupont?
I'm looking to it. I may not have any more. So
Okay.
no further questions.
Thank you. Mr. McIntyre, do you have any questions?
Just one question. Where is the piece of vacant land?
If you look at the overhead,
Okay, let me get there.
again, I have not inspected this building, so I am assuming that appendix page 3. So I am assuming that everything that runs along Waverly there and Scurfield, and then the southwest corner there also is all vacant.
But it's just to the rear of the property on Skirfield, or to the frontage on Skirfield?
So all the frontage on Waverly there. I mean, there's outside storage there, but it's still vacant land. And then along Skirfield Boulevard there is also vacant land there. I mean, they have outside storage there, but it is considered vacant land.
But it's not the other parcels that are outlined in orange to the right?
No, the building, the subject consists of, if you turn to page appendix 2, it might be a better. So anything in the dark purple.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. That's my only question.
Thank you. Mr. Tyrion, do you have any questions?
Yes, I'm looking at looking at the summary on page 15, and so I think that's I'm gonna try. If I understand, based on the evidence so far, there is agreement on the excess land. Is that correct?
Yes.
As far, well, the appellant hasn't said, but I'm assuming that's
Yeah, in his workup, he has the same figure as.
okay. I haven't looked at the appellant's brief, so I'm just going on yours.
Okay.
I guess what puzzles me a bit here is on your, again, page 15, because I did concentrate on that as much as I could, including the rest. You're recommending a revised assessment of 33719, and this may be changed subject to the findings of an on-site inspection of the subject property. So I'm finding it difficult to be able to, I guess, come to a conclusion based on that sort of qualifier. So,
Yeah.
it's not I'm trying to understand what's going on here, and that's good. I'm a little puzzled with that.
Yeah, usually the hydro properties are dealt with by one of my colleagues here, and he's recommending this figure, but he wants to inspect the building with hydro. We've worked out a lot of deals with hydro already, and whatever was left that weren't worked out, I think they farmed them out, and I think Altus was the the chosen agent for them to be appealed. So I
Okay.
think my colleague wants to do an inspection. So I whatever the outcome is going to be here, I think there's still going to be an inspection that's going to be scheduled.
Okay, and I want to go back again to page 15, and just a clarification again is on 2018 and 19, the outcome was 34,681,000. I just want to make sure I understand. The decision is based on the recommendation presented by the assessment and taxation and as well Altus as agent. And I mean, did both agree to this new figure?
That was the decision that was written on the order. So I just copied that onto here.
So you're not sure if it was agreed to, it was only, but I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah, so when the order came out, there's a reason for the order, and the reason written on the order was exactly that. So that's how the order was written.
Okay, I'm just trying to understand. And again, no appeal in the last in 2020.
Oh, sorry. Let me just revise that. So
Yeah.
the order stated that the decision is based on a recommendation presented by assessment and taxation. And then Altus was the Altus group was the agent and no muni appeal. That's what I put in there. So
Okay.
again, yeah.
So
again,
it's only the assessment department that made the recommendation.
correct, yes.
Did not necessarily agree, and there was no muni appeal.
Right. Yeah. If
That's
there's no muni appeal,
Yeah.
I'm assuming they're in agreement.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my head around this. So in stream one, you reduced it from 21,036,000 to 18,579.
Yeah.
And in stream three, you increased a
Right.
bit from 2,752,000 to 2,966,000. Now, so what was the main reason again on stream one? Because that's the major one I see here.
Yeah, so the stream one, if you look at my workup on page 5.
Page 5, okay. I'll go back there.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make it difficult here. I just want to understand.
Yeah, for sure. So on page 5, at the top there, you'll see that this income stream has 2 premises on it. One is 2,680 square feet, and the other one is 91,290 square feet. If you look at page 4, my comparables, I don't have any comparables close to that 91,290 square feet premise that they have. And there are no comparables in the city that I can find that are bigger than what I have there.
Yeah, I think you covered that before.
Yeah, so what I did was, because we know that with economies of scale, the larger the premises, the less they're going to charge per square foot for rent. So I made an adjustment to $11 instead of $13.20 was the overall net rental rate that we're using. So I made an adjustment to $11 based on my discussions with another assessor in the building here, or in my department. So that was everything else remained the same. So the vacancy, shortfall, expenses, the cap rate were the same.
Well, it's because I haven't seen what the appellant is asking, so I try to concentrate on yours.
I think the appellant in his brief has got $10.67. So
Yeah, I think you mentioned that too, but I haven't looked at it. Well, maybe one last question. I guess I'd have a number, but I'll try to stick to that. Is the 1.2 million interior alteration, that was based on a permit, was it?
yes,
You mentioned it. I don't recall what page it was.
it's on page 16, appendix 16.
Appendix. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I'll go there. Oh, there we go. Okay, at the bottom there. And that was based on a permit, if I understand correctly.
Correct, yes.
Okay, I think that's all, Madam Chair.
You were on page 15 and you just brought to my attention, on page 15, right at the bottom, it seems like I've got the wrong number there.
Oh, okay. Well, let me go back there. You gotta give me a minute here. Okay,
Right at the bottom, the 2020, 2021, 2022
yeah,
assessment I have the wrong number written there. I don't know
oh, you
why.
do?
Yeah,
You know what?
it should be 33,719,000 instead of the 33,180,000.
33,792?
Oh, no,
So did you say 33?
no, sorry, scratch that. Sorry, ignore everything I just said.
Oh, what does that mean? What does that mean?
No, in my other briefs, I have my last table row says current appeal, but this one doesn't. This one, I just noticed it says 2020 to 2022, not 2023. So just scratch everything I said. That's the correct number there. 33,180,000.
That's the right figure?
That was the right assessment for years 2020, 21, 2022.
Okay, well, I tried to understand a little better. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. And I have no additional questions. So Mr. Dupont, you
Can
can
I,
begin your presentation. Oh,
Can I redirect from one of those questions?
sure.
For the permit, we show it as an interior alterations. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. So it's not a new building, it was interior. Okay. That's fine. That's
Okay.
all the questions.
Okay. And go
I-
ahead with your presentation.
I do have a rebuttal. Does that go before or after?
No, it'll go after your presentation.
Okay. So my report, so the first page, I have the map. So it's Chevrier, Waverly, and on the right-hand side, that's the New Market Street. Then we have an aerial photo where I have the little red dot, and that's where the voltage building is. And the other main building with lots of square footage would be the brown building that's facing Chevrier. And then we have the same thing as the maps, but we have the in two parts to get more of a close up. I would say the excess lands or the land calculations is not a particular identification of some land on the total. It's usually in excess. So usually you say the amount of normal land for the value would be so much, anything over would be excess lands. Sometimes we can find that the excess lands is totally separate at the rear or the side or something. I don't think it's the case this time. Is that we have a lot of land in between the buildings, and they're usually made used for storage. So I don't think we can actually say where the excess lands is. It's just excess lands. We have some more overhead maps, etc. So the page 8, these are the notes that we had from the BAs. Gave that to the assessor, and he said he agreed with that. So that the BSG on top there shows that 91,000 has no EC. A small amount, 2680, has EC, so there may be office there. Small amount of office. That could be thrown into the assessor's office income stream, where we're not sure. Manufacturing. It's all shown as air conditioning. And that is likely the voltage building. And at the bottom of it, the portion that 1 or 2 stories, some would as office, some would be manufacturing. The next part is the storage warehouse. So the 61,000 would have AC, but the 13,700 have no heat, only hydro, so no water, no AC. And those type of buildings usually at 50% of the main building. So if you're at 485 for the main, you'd have 240 or so for the building with no heat. 3,200 is no water or AC, so it's not meant for people to work in. There's no water, no washrooms, and the 4,299 has no AC. Your office at the bottom, they show it as AC. That comes to our 16. So I guess I'm wrong on top where the VSG has office. It appears to have a little bit of office, and that's not part of the office income stream. Before we go to the income stream, I'd like to go to the appendix. So in 2016 files, we found some photos. Unfortunately, they don't identify, so we don't know where, etc., where they are. So the second photo looks like some plain offices. And then the third photo, same thing. And the contact Manitoba Hydro is Mike Taylor, who used to be an assessor for Winnipeg. He now works for Hydro. And he basically says it's a government agency, so it would be a relatively plain office finish. And the photos indicate that. And to the next page, appendix 3, same thing, part of the office. And then we have some warehouse, etc. photos. They don't identify as to where they are, so doesn't help that much. So the main thing here is to show that the office is not that great or low level finish. Bottom page 8, we have one of the steel buildings. On page 9, also the other steel buildings, I call them the satellite buildings. These would have lower values, or should have lower values. Page 10, you got the inside of one of those steel buildings, very plain. It is just storage, so it's probably one of those, may not be heated. All you need is hydro there, no washrooms. Other photos are shown, not that much help. So then we go with the city's income stream. We can skip through those. Then it has the city income stream, the evaluation for all the buildings at the bottom. Now we have the building details. The assessor has section 9 to 12 missing, and we don't. So if you go to commercial building details, you see building number 1, etc. Masonry shows the year built, etc. If you go to section 9, you'll see metal frame, section 10, metal frame, 11, metal, section 12 is a big area, 9,600 square feet, wood frame. That is not identified in the city reports, but they do exist. Section 13 is also wood frame, 2,200 square feet. And the next one, 900 square feet. So that's then we have the building business assessment, and it shows you the 91,000, that's no AC. And then the assessor agreed to the other parts that were not heated So back to our report, page 9. We wanted to keep that simple. We disputed the vacancy on the VSG at 2%. We're going to say it should be 4 as the rest, but we decided not to dispute it to make it simpler. We normally dispute the other expenses, which the management or other. We don't dispute it to make it simple, and then again for the board. We dispute the rents only. So it shows the our rents that we have shown in highlighted in yellow. The storage warehouse. We agree with the base 485. But so we'll go to that. So our value from the 3 income streams or 4 income streams is 30,292,000. That's the bottom left. Now we agree with the cap rates in all of them. Sorry, we agree with the original cap rate in the office building at 6.75, and the assessor now changed it. He reduced the rents, but he offset that by reducing the cap rate. So there's not much of a recommendation that helps us. So the next one is the individual income approach. I believe I showed the MLW twice. Well, I'm reading for my revised. So what's your first income stream? Is it the MLW? MWL, which is should be 5,182,000. We use a rent 747. The previous rent from the 2023 assessment was 575,978, and the assessor increased it by 41.8%. So we increase the rents by 7%, and that's how we get to the 747. So for 2023, the assessor increased the cap rates, decreased the excess lands, but they offset this by having much higher rent increases. So for the this part, MWL, we just use a 7% increase, except the assessor parameters of the rest. The office, the assessor, the increase in rents by 10.6%. We increased it by 7%. Now we talked to Mike Taylor at Hydro. He believes that the rents for office should be not that high, should be usually part of the industrial complex. So my client dispute the fact that we have a separate income stream for the office. So if we go to municipal board, we will likely change the rents on the office to go much lower. Now I also checked the photos, and I believe only about 4,000 to 5,000 of that complex of blue and white buildings, only 4,000 to 5,000 have windows. So if and when we inspect, I don't think we'll find 16,000 square feet of office, because there's only, it could be office, but it would be very plain with no windows. More of a storage type office. So our 1425, I believe it's on the high side. The main difference with the assessor, we use 6.75 cap rate. Then the next, so that comes to a value, 2,651,000, the assessor is 2,752. On the previous cycle is 2,629. And then we go to the storage warehouse, next income approach. So the assessor is 485 for the base, 61,000. We don't dispute that. And that's masonry. The next one, 13,700 square feet. That's apartment, no heat, water, or AC. The assessor is 615 rents. And they have irons in the base. We believe it should be lower. So we went 275, which is 50%. The 2,200, we went $4. It should be less than the base. And that's either steel or wood. We're not sure, but it's not masonry. Just included construction, like a satellite building. Such as 973 with 4, 4299 with 5, such as 10. It's metal frame. So we don't dispute the rest of the parameters, just some minutes on those three. The next one, BSG. The assessor mentioned amend 2023 went up 22%. We increased it by 7%, which makes it 1067. We agree with the rest of the parameters. So the value is 11,773,000. We don't dispute the land adjustment. We showed the previous land adjustment with 2020 was 7,600,000. So they reduced the land, but the value is much higher, mainly because they increased the net so much. The current city assessment is 21 million, and ours is 18. It's mainly on the rents. It's all in rent. Sorry, actually. So that's my report. I have the rebuttal next.
Thank you, Mr. Dupont. Mr. Das Mohammed, do you have any questions for Mr. Dupont?
Yes, I do. Thank you. Mr. Dupont, I think you mentioned that you have not inspected this building or this complex.
No, I tried to arrange for an inspection, and I tried to I asked you if you want to inspect, and you didn't want to, and the hydro could not organize an inspection.
And you mentioned the building sections on your last 3 pages. The details of the building sections. You printed those off from the taxation website. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah. So it matches yours, except you forgot the 9 to 12. Yeah.
Now, you agree on our industrial vacancy rates, except for the office part?
I agree with all your vacancy rates for all 4 income streams.
For 3 industrial streams, that you agree on them?
Yes.
So the manufacturing, light storage, and the vehicle service. And you agree with our recoverable expenses of 3% on all of them?
Yes.
So you brought out these rents here. Where did you get these rents from? I don't see any comparables.
I'm using for 2 of them. I'm using 7% less than your 2020 assessments.
But you don't have actual comparables that you utilize from the market, do you?
No, I do not.
Okay. If you Sorry, I'm just flipping some pages here. If you turn to my appendix, page 21, there's the Collier's Industrial Market Report there. Just let me know when you're there.
Yeah, I lost it for some reason. There you go. Got it. So page 21, you say?
Yes, appendix 21.
Yes.
Okay, so the first paragraph there, would you agree with them that the Winnipeg industrial sector closed 2020 with strong fundamentals and a diverse economic base and continued to show signs of strength?
Sure.
Okay, and then down at the bottom there, they mentioned that the industrial market is expected to remain active as you head into 2021. You agree with that?
Well, that's just a general statement. We don't expect it to be inactive. So, of course.
Okay, on page 26, there's another report by Collier's there. And that's for Q1 2021, which would fall into this reference date. Would you agree with them saying that 2021 started with the same momentum as seen in Q2 2020, or sorry, Q4 2020?
Again, that's just a general statement. They continue to have demand, so I assumed it would demand would not disappear.
Okay,
So
and then sorry.
You go, yeah, go ahead. That's
And then the last paragraph, the underlying fundamentals of the industrial market continue to remain strong, low vacancy, stable growth rental rates, and strong demand. Would you agree with all that?
sure.
Okay. So I believe you said you got these rental rates on your page 9 from our 2018
2020.
2020 rental rates?
Yes.
Okay, I think those are all the questions I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Das Mohammed. Mr. McIntyre, do you have any questions?
I have one question. If everybody goes to, let me get back to it. Page 9 of Henry's brief. So you're showing the 4 income streams at the top of that table, is that correct?
Yes.
Except I cannot find the income stream for manufacturing light. The first one is VSG on page 10, correct?
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I'll just let me finish.
Okay. Yeah.
The second one is the OFB/OFS on page 11, correct?
Yes.
And the storage warehouse is on page 12, correct?
Yes.
And on page 13, we see the vehicle service garage again. In other words, there's no income workup for the manufacturing light, correct?
Yes, I showed two, one, and I forgot the manufacturing light. And the actual income approach has nothing different than the page 9. So the income approach there is shown on page 9. And the only thing you would see different if you had an income approach is that it says 2023 city rent was 575,978, which I give to a verbally increase of 41.8%. And that we increase our rents by 7%. So I gave you that information verbally, but the breakdown of the actual income approach would be shown on page 9.
Okay, thank you. That was my only questions, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. And I have no questions. So Mr. Dupont, you have some rebuttal evidence?
Can I ask questions, Madam Chair?
Oh, of course, of course.
Prefer if you don't
Sorry.
ask any.
Sorry,
It's
sorry
okay.
about that.
That's okay. There's 3 of us. That's the reason. I just want to confirm a few things. You're not disputing anything except the rents. Is that correct?
That's correct.
You tried to keep it simple, you mentioned.
Right.
Okay, but I guess there's no comparables from what I can see. The other point I wanted to ask, you referred many times to Mike Taylor, but have you got any evidence to refer to that? Because I guess I have to look at that if there's no evidence as hearsay evidence, because you referred to him about 3-4 times as to what he thought it should be. But I mean, I know you're under oath, but I'm still trying to get a handle on that.
Oh, no, it's verbal evidence that I'm giving that Mike Taylor has moved from the assessment department to Hydro. He's the guy I report to. So being an assessor for many years, he had some comments, and one of the comments is that he thought the office should not be valued separately as a separate income stream. So I just reported that to you. And that was one of the first things when I talked to Arif, it's one of the first things I asked is why the office valued separately. And I did mention many times to him and to the board that the comparables you find would be for buildings that are not part of industrial complexes. So it's very hard to find a comparable for your subject offices.
Okay, I'm trying to get a better handle. The other comment you made is it's back to the no heat, no air conditioning, and so on. I think that's page 8. I'm not sure, but you mentioned that normally the reduction is around 50%. Where do you get that information? How do you come up with that figure of the 50% on when that's on page 8? When there's those amenities are different or are not present. Any comment on that?
Yes, it's when that happens, it's usually a building, a part of a large industrial complex, and we usually neither the assessor nor the appellant have comparables for that. Usually don't find a building all by itself on land and no heat. So since we don't have comparables, we've developed a practice over the years. We've gone to municipal board. Actually, I could dig up municipal board decisions where the people agree to 50% less rent when there's no heat.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, go ahead. That's fine. I'm trying to get where you're getting that evidence.
I'm just saying it's a practice from over many years.
Practice, okay. So I think that's it, Madam Chair. Thanks very much for your indulgence.
No, and I'm sorry that I skipped you. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, back to rebuttal. I understand, Mr. Dupont, that you have rebuttal evidence. Do we have that, Ellen?
You should now, yes.
Okay. In the folder?
Yeah.
No, that one, yeah.
Okay, let's just give me a minute to find it.
Thanks. Good thing
Okay, does everybody have it in front of them?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Dos Mohammed, do you have it in front of you?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Dupont.
Okay, so first page, we see building types. Page 14, appendix, show the building, city shows 17 buildings. Then shows individual sections for construction type, but they miss sections 9 to 12. And then went over those, and those were steel, and I believe one was wood, 9,200 square feet of wood. So if you take the building details, you add them all up, you would get what I have there. Masonry, these buildings, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 169,000 is masonry out of the whole 251,000. Steel A, 39,000. Steel S, there's 6 buildings, 28,000. So the steel S and the wood would be likely satellite buildings. We could have a lean-to attached to one of the big buildings. And wood, 13,700. So those would be steel and wood would be inferior constructions. So you have 28,000, 13,000 square feet of inferior construction and not adjusted anywhere in the income approach by the city. So we said they're not identified by the city in their income approaches, they're not adjusted downwards, and nor have they adjusted rent for lack of utilities such as heat and water. It's mysteriously hidden in their model income approaches. But they have the burden proof, and they did not meet the burden proof here today. So I start with the city MWL comps. So they have high rents for the manufacturing light. And one of the reasons comps are, a lot of it is retail. So the first one, you may recognize this building. When you go down Keniston, very unusual building. One is a brewery tap room, and the other one is a dry cleaner. So these rents it shows the rents the city applied 851, 925, 156. The dry cleaners too small. Brewery is retail and smaller naturally. And then the next one's on Century, St. James. St. James would tend to have higher rents than anywhere else for industrial property because it's actually mixed with retail, mixed with hotels. That's high traffic. So it's too small retail. We have part of their website showing what they sell. So they're open to the public. The next one is Day, which is bar steel. Too small, high land building ratio. And the B rent is a lot less than we reported. So I question the rents. So there's 2 parts, a Day and 2475B. Then we have the map showing where they are. Cash corner. And then we show the aerial photo shows that I have a lot of excess lands. And we value excess lands for something separately. Here is included in the rent. So they would have to adjust the rent downwards for that. And the business assessment, they have 2 parts. We're not sure which one the assessment shows. But the BH 583 per square foot in the assessment sits 11.5 for ordinary steel warehouse. The city is 20,000 square feet. Does match the square foot as above. And our file, we have a file until 2018, the rent from 2004 to 2014 was $3.86 per square foot. As of July 2009, but estimate up to 2014. So we doubt the demand triple, unless it was a sale leaseback or something unusual like that. The next part of day 31,000, AC is 5,100. Then they have another part, AC 5,100 with no AC. And the BA 672 and 31.5 and 71.51 doesn't match this city at 145. So the actual rents is on two parts. The city got only part of it, and the part they have much higher than what the BA are. The next is BSG comps. The city adjusted the rent. They're subject 93,000. The city applied 13 and 16. So subject is basically a warehouse where we do their own servicing for the vehicles. So 93,000, the comp one is only 2,000. It's on Henderson. Too small on the retail street. Comp 2 is we showed the maps, that's where they are. 3,000, 2,000 square feet, too small on the retail street. I will show where they are as part the photos. 3 properties in a row. Comp 4, it's actually an autopack building. They have that BSC vehicle service garage, and actually they deal with the public in there. So our comments shows that from our report, but we did an appeal, we say roughly 50% main floor is used as office. They have a basement and a sunroom, room office. So it does have some vehicle service garage in the back. But with high percentage of office. So it's not comparable. Number 5 is Innsbruck. It's a Fountain Tire retails for the public. So naturally they would have vehicle service garage, but it's retail. It's right off Highway 90, very busy route. Not comparable. SMU comps. No, we don't disagree with their base rent, 485. We disagree with the rest they apply to the ones with like utilities. But basically we're saying none of the comparables have either steel or wood. And the small ones are not comparable to the big part of 61,000. So the first 12 comparables are too small, 2 to 15,000. None are identified as being steel or wood construction or lacking utilities such as heat and water. So I don't have a rebuttal on those 12, except the city did not identify them properly. Comparable number 2 on Lawson. City has rent of 11, but the BA is only 790. Also price of a larger building. So the city at 94 square feet. Retail off Kennison, too small. We show where it is on Kennison Commercial Street. We have the BA shown there. The parts is on the city usually believe the lower part. The next one, 4 Sergeant looking at a sign. Installation gym. Retail too small. It's on Sergeant. And number 13 is Napa Auto Parts. This is a true retail warehouse. They deal with the retail in the front part, and they have the warehouse in the back is where they have the auto parts. High AC area. Front retail and the location same. Near hotels, the furniture, Dufresne furniture, all those, the area will make it get a higher rent. So we had the total front parking, some back. We show the map, Google Map shows the yard church and the hotels in the area. Business assessment shows high EC, 27,000, 23% EC. Comp 14, Farmers Creek, full AC. The city has 625, but Superior. It's showing 100% EC there on page 20. Then the other comp 15, 16, the city has $6 rent. They show 5182,000. Based on the evidence that we have, it appears to be the part is office and the part that has a 21-foot ceiling section. See by your listing, it says new loading docks, high ceilings for 78,000 square feet. So the comps are not comparable. It's still office or high ceiling. We show our 2018 brief. It was a distribution warehouse, 2-story section, 52,000 square feet office. It's like what the section had. Then we showed as 74 section with 20-foot ceiling. A map of it showing the facts of distribution warehouse. The CBRE lease. It shows high ceiling, 78,000. They show the photos from the listing, very high ceiling. The plan that it has 2 options. You can take 78 and 64,000. Pro read the description of the next one on Notre Dame, 550, 61,000. Renovated a few times. And then pro read says third line renovated. NEC 2009, 2015. High model land, 5.5%, 5.5 acres. So a high land building ratio. The next part is the office comps. So the city comps are standalone office buildings or multi-tenant buildings, not a part of an industrial complex or attached to an industrial building. So number one, 150 Waverly, part of the multi-tenant strip. So that's not comparable. I'm showing a map as to where it is, aerial photo. Then we're Sergeant. In retail area between high traffic, Century, King Edward, surrounded by hotels, Leon's, furniture, under retail. St. James area, much superior. Shows the office house in the front. So it's right in the map shows better area. Comp 3 multi-tenant, busy retail corner, St. James in Dublin. So part of multi-tenant, not standalone. It's on a market size industrial. They'll show the map again, St. James, the area it's in, and the L map showing part of a large complex. Number 4, Dover Court, built 1999, so newer area. Shows the map also. Secure Top 5 on Sherbrooke as a child family services. Downtown location, not comparable. That is certainly not comparable to an office in an industrial area. location, type of building, type of tenant. It doesn't even have the map, shows what it is. Broadway and points. Top 6, and it's on Pembina retail area. We show 850 Pembina, right on Pembina. Show the area since it's all retail, no industrial in the area. Top 7, Waverly, mixed residential retail area, multi-tenant. Shows what it is in Waverly. We show the aerial photo, shows the residential one side, what it is on the other side. And that's my rebuttal. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dupont. Mr. Das Mohammed, do you have any questions of the rebuttal evidence?
Yes, I do. So I'll just try and make it as painless as possible. Mr. Dupont, just to confirm, you did not provide any comparables of your own, did you?
No, I thought the assessor would have to have the burden of proof on comparables, and I would concentrate on rebuttal. Instead of bring my own. Plus, I couldn't get a straight answer from you as to what type of buildings we had, so it was difficult to value because we couldn't figure out in the beginning what was included anywhere.
Okay. Your first comparables on page 2 are manufacturing light. Is that correct? Or the ones that you listed?
Yeah.
Pictures, yeah. So and on my page 13, which has the manufacturing light workup, there's some retail space in there. Is that correct? You were asking me about before.
What's the question again? Page.
Maybe I'll just skip this. Well, maybe I'll just go straight to storage warehouse. Comparable that you have here that I noticed. If you go to your if you go to your page 18, rebuttal page 18. And that is for storage warehouse. So you were asking me earlier, did I provide any comparables without air conditioning? As one of the buildings here was a storage warehouse and it had no AC. So there is a building there that you identified that only has 33% air conditioning. Is that correct?
Yeah, 33%.
Okay.
Which is lots, yeah.
Okay. And so 33% of the building is air conditioned.
Yes.
Okay. Whereas the subject has less than 33%, is that correct? Or the storage warehouse stream, there is no AC on 2 premises, and the big one in the VSG has no AC. However, this building on Ellis is bringing in $9 net rent. Is that correct?
Uh,
On page 7 of my comparables, you'll see that 117 Ellis net rent is $7, or sorry, $9.
Yeah, I don't dispute the rent that you showed.
Okay, so
but I'm saying it's not comparable to a storage warehouse that for the subject, which has no office.
well, no, this is a storage warehouse comparable that I'm utilizing here.
You're using a retail warehouse with high amount of office or air
Okay,
conditioning.
your page 18 shows my comparable for storage warehouse. That is only 33% air conditioning, so 66% is air conditioned. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay, so yeah, that comparable brings in $9 rent, and whereas we have utilized $5.52, is that correct?
the subject is inferior because it's this one is retail
All right, I
and
don't
it's
have,
St. James.
okay, I don't have any further questions.
Thank you. Mr. McIntyre, do you have any questions?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Tyrion, do you have any questions?
No questions, thank you.
And I have no questions. Mr. Dos Mohammed, do you have rebuttal evidence you'd like to
No, I
present?
don't. No, I don't.
Thank you. And Mr. Dos Mohammed, is there any desire for summary?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Mr. DuPont?
Yes, I do. We are this hearing, we should not be pushing it to municipal board because the assessor may inspect them and do it differently. We have the evidence here today. We should decide on it today. And what we accepted in the past should not necessarily be indicative of what we accept now. We're looking at it differently now. We're trying to figure out what's happening more so than the past. The assessor is burden proof. None of their comparable rents are actually comparable. Actually, none. I have rebuttal evidence on all of them. And I'm going very conservative, some percent over the 2020 rents. On two of them, and the SWH accepted base 485. Then I'm lowering the rents on the other three, which are steel and lack utilities. So that again, I repeat, the assessor is burden proof. Therefore, we should not be kicking that up to Mr. Board. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DuPont. Okay, that concludes item number 5 on our agenda. Would anybody mind if we took a 5-minute break?
Good idea.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay. Okay, let's recess for 5 minutes.
We are live.
Thank you. I'd like to call the meeting back to order. We're now on item number 6, 170 Furniture Park. Mr. Dos Mohammed, when you're ready.
Hey, Board of Revision file number 22-1292, roll number 0400286700. Address is 170 Furniture Park, roll year is 2023, reference date is April 1st, 2021. Assessed value is $10,525,000. Parcel use is industrial light manufacturing. Number of buildings is 3, number of premises is 6. It's a 2-story building. Actual year built and effective years built are both 1979 to 1987. Wall heights range from 9 feet to 20 feet. Zoning is manufacturing general. Land area is 263,577 square feet. Plan area is 129,060 square feet. Gross floor area is 138,060 square feet. And leasable area is 137,450 square feet. Land to plan area is 2.04 to 1. If you turn to my appendix, page 1, there's the map of the subject property. It is located in the northeastern quadrant of the city. On appendix 2 is the subject parcel boundaries. Appendix 3 and 4 are overhead shots of the building. And appendix 5 is the site plan. So this is a mostly owner occupied building with some tenants. On page 6 is the tenant roll. And it looks like there are gross leases that range from $7.20 per square foot to $9.39 per square feet. Okay, on my page 3 is my rent comparables. So all of these comparables are manufacturing industrial properties. All leases are current in relation to the reference date. Effective year built ranges from 1963 to 1989. Average wall heights range from 12 feet to 24 feet. Leasable areas range from 7,700 square feet to approximately 67,200 square feet, in a similar fashion to the subject, in order to compare the different leasable areas within the subject property. Net rents range from $6.25 per square foot to $13.95 per square foot. You'll note that the smaller leasable areas lease at a rate greater than the larger leasable areas due to economies of scale. On the following page is my workup. So we're utilizing an overall net rent of $6.10 per square foot. We're utilizing a 4% vacancy loss, allowing for 3% non-recoverable expenses, $3.85 for vacancy shortfall. This results in an NOI of $773,595. We're utilizing a cap rate of 7.35. This results in a rounded capitalized value and assessed value of $10,525,000. Again, I'll just point out in my appendix page 10 there's a Collier's industrial market report for Q4 2020. They're indicating that the Winnipeg industrial sector closed 2020 with strong fundamentals, a diverse economic base that continues to show signs of strength despite the effects of the pandemic. The last line there, you'll note that rental rates have been increasing at a 2% annual growth rate, according to them. The last paragraph on that page, they're expecting 2021 to continue to be a strong quarter. On my page, appendix 15, there's the Q1 2020 industrial market report by Colliers. Again, they're indicating 2021 started with the same fundamentals as seen in Q4 2020. The last paragraph on that page, you'll note they are stating a low vacancy, a stable growth rate, and strong demand for the industrial market. On page 16, their cap rate report for 2021. They're indicating demand for good quality industrial buildings has increased, leading to a decrease in cap rates for the 2021 quarter. And then there's a CRB report for Q1 2021 on appendix 19, which also shows that Winnipeg, which also states that Winnipeg has continued to see strong demand for warehousing and renewed interest from institutional investors as a growing appetite for larger acquisition opportunities. So on page, my brief page 5, you'll note that the history of assessment and board orders on this property. In 2018 and 2019, there was a mutual agreement signed for $6,988,000. And I believe that was Mr. DuPont who signed that agreement in August 25th, 2017. And at that time, the market value was based on a reference date of April 1st, 2016. Okay, so Given the strong state of the industrial market over the last number of years and the strong forecast for the foreseeable future, I believe that the assessed value of $10,552,000 to be fair and equitable, and I respectfully ask that the board confirm this value. I'm open to questions.
Thank you, Mr. Dos Mohammed. Mr. Dupont?
Now, would you agree that the subject area, which would be East Canolden, is not as good as major industrial parks like Inkster Industrial Park or more retail type St. James Industrial Park?
No, for industrial, I think McLeod Industrial is comparable to Inkster Industrial.
But not for St. James?
St. James doesn't have industrial that I am there. That you'd be referring to, I guess, what we would call. Sorry, I don't have the map, but that would be our market region 5, which also includes King Edward. I think all industrial is similar except for Southside. Southside's industrial is more superior than the north side.
Now you have an aerial map or subject. So the land building ratio 2.04. Would you agree that's lower than normal?
No, 2 is normal. 4 would be anything over 4 would be excess. 2 would be normal.
So
And-
4
and-
4 is your dividing line, so that the 2 would be on the low side.
No, let me just give you a definition of manufacturing 2 general for zoning district. Manufacturing general 2 district is intended to provide for light manufacturing, processing, service, storage, wholesale, and distribution operations with some limited outside operations and storage. So 2 for M2, 2.04 to 1 for M2 is normal.
Now your aerial photo, your appendix 2, I guess. Appendix 2, aerial view. You show the subject, then you show that has parking and access from right-of-ways.
Correct.
Are you deducting those right-of-ways off the value for the subject?
Sorry, can you repeat that question?
Are you deducting the assessment of those right-of-ways off
What
the
right of
subject
ways are you talking about?
that is shown at the bottom of the aerial photo? Your appendix 2?
Okay, my appendix 2, there's a picture of the subject parcel boundaries. And then it highlighted in purple. So what are you getting at there? Sorry.
Okay, we're doing 170 Furniture Park, is that correct?
Yes, yes.
And I don't see purple there, so your appendix. Oh, yeah, appendix in purple, yeah,
Subject parcel boundaries are outlined in purple, dark purple.
yeah. That below that, the aerial photo,
Okay,
appendix 3, I guess, yeah. So you see
appendix 3, okay.
so you see the subject, the map, and then the it has parking. I
Yes.
guess some more storage. So those are the lands south of it,
So,
or no, west of it. I guess they are assessed separately,
okay.
but used by the subject. Is that correct?
I'm not sure if they're used by the subject. This assessment is just for, on this roll number, it's just that purple on page 2, which is assessed. So nothing else.
But normally when a lot uses the other lands, it's the assessment is deducted off the value. So
No, no, that would be assessed on a different roll number.
that assessment on a different roll number is usually deducted off the current roll number if it uses that extra land.
I have never done that since I've been here. I've been here since 2017, so I have never done that.
That's all questions I have.
Thank you. Mr. McIntyre, do you have any questions?
I have no questions, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Tyrion?
Just to confirm a few things, okay, I'm looking at your appendix 6. And I know some are probably related companies. I'm looking at the mailer.
Yes,
You're following me?
yes, yep.
So I guess the first one would be wouldn't be independent in the last one, but I thought Arctic OEM, Eric OEM and R&M Trucking might be sort of independent. I'm not sure I'm right here.
Yes, I believe so. They're not related.
Okay.
First and the last.
Yeah, and what I'm just taking the comment you made about the cost per square foot that you laid out, and that's what I'm trying to check.
Yes.
Well, I think you probably gave a minimum and a maximum. I'm not sure.
No, sorry. Yeah, I gave a minimum and a maximum, but
What did you say? What was it at the time when you mentioned that?
it was between 720 and 935. But I do have the actual for the so Arctic pays $7.20.
Okay.
And R&M Trucking pays $9.39
Okay.
per square foot.
Okay. And you're using an overall figure in your workup of 610 per square foot.
Correct. Yes.
If I go back to the workup, I'm trying to put some handle on this thing because it's owner occupied, but I don't know if we're talking apples and oranges as to the use though.
Yeah. So
I'm not sure of that.
This is a model rent that we've used. And here also, they're leasing at a gross rate, whereas we take net rents. So
Okay.
less costs.
Okay.
So the rents that they are charging to themselves and to the two tenants are gross rents, where we utilize net rents.
Okay, good. So that's where your 610 comes in on average here.
Correct. Yes.
But are these, would there be comparable use of what you have on the workup on page 4 versus what these people pay?
So yeah, if you look at our rents for the two there, like we have more premises than they have indicated.
Yeah, obviously.
Some of the I guess some of the space is vacant there. So
Okay.
they're only indicating the ones that are utilized.
Okay. I think that's all I had for now, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I have no questions. So Mr. DuPont, when you're ready.
Okay. So my report, first page, assessment 10 million. We're looking for 5.7. So it's a big reduction. We show the photos. And then then we have the property description on page 8. Then if we go to the aerial photos, now I probably should have deducted the right-of-ways to the north of the subject. Those are assessed under Palliser's name, and you can see the parking that this lot uses. Those parking. If we deducted those parking lots, it would bring the land building ratio closer to a more normal 4, but we did not do that. So, now before we we go to market rents, etc., I'd like to go to the appendix.
What page does that start on?
Well, after page 23. Now,
Okay.
unfortunately, my appendix is not numbered, so
Okay.
you have to follow me
Okay.
very closely. So
Right.
Okay.
the first page is the assessor's income approach from
Got it.
the web. Second page is the building details.
Yeah.
Then we have a lease, a Hunter
Yeah.
Wire lease, September 2013. And this is the base, I guess, for all three properties today. This property was leased in full, the full billing for $4.15 per square foot. That's what we use as a rent comparable for all of them. That's what we settle for 2018 at $4.15 per square foot. This lease is centered to a whole bunch of our the evaluations here today. Now, if you scroll to the lease, it shows the term, gives you option to renew, etc. Basic rent, line 22, 2.2, which is page 5 of the lease. So it started off, I don't know if you're there.
Yeah.
Started off at $395. And went up, step ups, 405 in year 3 of 415. That's what we use, 415. And then it went up all the way up to 485. Then after the lease, we have an email from Cheryl Furr from Palliser. That's a relatively important email. The questionnaires that they give to the city always give the occupancy at the end of the year. And there's a lot of movement in between. The vacancies, new tenants coming in, new tenants going out. And the questionnaires are not clear. So I asked them questions, and this is their reply. So second paragraph. So Spring Hill Lumber vacated January 1st, 2018. So they have the dates where they vacated. I calculated exactly the vacancy rates, etc. So Arctic leased 45,000 square feet from July 2016 to June 30th, 2021. Vacated when they did not renew their lease when it expired. Had no option to renew, so they vacated at the end of it. There was no termination requirement, no notice given. Palliser had already earmarked the space for themselves and did not intend to renew their lease. So Palliser had at least totally to Hunter Wire before. Then they leased some of it out. And then the market picked up for furniture and they wanted to reoccupy the whole building. So they did not intend to renew their lease. So the existing leases that were there disappeared. And then trucking went from 2017 to June 30th, 2021. Palliser provided them notice of vacate on April 8, 2021, and went into effect June 30th, 2021. So it was multi-tenant until 2021, and by 2022 was single tenant. And for the 23 assessment is single tenant. The R&N lease at 280 square feet of office. The rest was warehouse. Palliser Furniture, which is actually related. And they had 3 leases in place, so they have some accurate records because they had eternal leases. It shows a pawn shop, office, warehouse. These leases were terminated in December 2021 in order for Palliser to enter into a new lease for more space. So as of April 2018, which was the reference date for the 2020 assessment, Palliser had these spaces. So total Palliser related space was 61,098. RNN Arctic are shown, and so the vacancy was 20,072 as of April 1st, 2018. And as of April 1st, 2021, valuation date for 2023, leases in place were Arctic, 45,000, no office, RNN, 11,000, very little office. And then it shows a Palliser, and vacancy was also 20,072. The pending vacancy was 56,890, RNN and Arctic. So Palliser, next paragraph, entered a new lease July 2021 for 65,000 above the existing lease 61 for a total of 124. And within this lease, they had wording that as of January 1st, 2022, the space would be increased to 128,000. So then effective January 1st, 2022, Palliser took over the whole building at 128,060. As of July 1st, 2021, all external tenants vacated to allow for fixing period to occur for the benefit of Palliser Furniture. Fixing involved the addition of machinery, painting, upgrading, lighting. Hey,
Just the page.
I don't have the page. You have to follow. So it's the email from Cheryl for after the lease. So the second page of that email,
Yeah, you can close.
third last paragraph.
No, top little. Yeah, put it back into. Correct. Thank you.
So following now, sorry.
We are sorry.
Yeah, I was trying to get, there was a document that's sideways pretty hard on the neck. So I was trying to read it.
Oh, okay. So then there was emails from me to her, so that we can skip that email. Then we have a 2018 basis of settlement, the income approach for Maltus. So basically we settled at $415 per square foot. That was basically Hunter Wire lease.
Pardon me, is this all a post reference that you're providing?
Absolutely none.
Well, reference date was April 1st, 2021.
Minus. Here.
The email that they sent to me, I'm
Well,
showing
the dates that you're indicating there.
I'm showing the vacancies at April 1st, 2018, April 1st, 2021. So that's the two reference dates. Then I'm showing you the information as of January 1st, 2022. That's the physical date for the appeal of 2023. So as of 2023, the building was single tenant. Physically, it was single tenant. It was not multi-tenant anymore.
As of
So that-
2023.
Yeah, so that's so the after April 1st, 2021, it's after a reference date for economic data, but it's not after a reference date for the physical. So part of that is that as April 2021, they give them a notice to vacate. So that would be known as of April 1st, 2021. And so and Palliser had no intention to renew. So that they were intending to take over the whole building. As of April 1st, 2021. And then as of January 1st, 2022, it was totally single tenant. So that's a physical condition. So can I move on now to the 2018 income approach basis of settlement?
Okay, but we are dealing with this cycle's assessment and not the previous one. So we won't probably give it a lot of weight because we can't go back. We can't go back to the previous assessment. We weren't part of that.
No, I realize that the board doesn't want to deal too much with the previous assessment, but
Or we can't deal with it at all, right? So
No, it becomes a precedent. It becomes data. It's we're not asking you to change that 2018. It says we settled at 415 which was the actual lease in place for Hunter Wire, where the building was single tenant. The assessor mentioned
Okay.
it. He said Altus Henry Dupont signed that CO 15-1. So I'm saying this is the basis that the assessor referred to. So we settled at 415.
Okay, we see that.
And we settled 6,989,000. And then we have the board of revision order for 2020. The board confirmed. Then we have the questionnaires, 2015. This shows for 2015 it was a Hunter Wire lease only. Then that's 2016 questionnaire. It says in the front that it's 45% vacant. And then the rent roll shows Palliser had some of the space and Spring Hill Lumber had some, Arctic had some. All that information will be in my spreadsheets. So this is the background.
Okay.
So I don't necessarily have to spend too much time on that, but the then 2017 questionnaire starts. And the extra shows that those were all gross leases. And 2018 questionnaire. Then we can skip over the questionnaires. I don't think the facts are under dispute per se. We have a 2020 business assessment afterwards. Then we have the aerial photos, board revision order for 2020 on this. The last 2 pages is the spreadsheet that I did, summary of Palliser appeals, large industrial precedents for 2023 BOR. I want to make sure I was in line with the prior precedents, board revision mainly. I take all of them. For all 3 years, because we had 20 for these appeals, we have 2023, 2020, and 2018 under appeal for 50, 80, but for 170 we settled 2018. So we have 2023, 20 and 23 outstanding. Now there's a lot of data there, but the first one, 1615 King Edward, showing that 2018 city rents were 410, vacancy was 4. Altus, we asked for 375. City cap rate was 6.25. Ours was 8. Rent for 410, same as the assessor. BOR went 6.75 cap rate. Land building ratio is 2.11. It was low. So the fourth last column is interesting. It's per square foot of land, per square foot of the building, excluding any excess lands. It was $52 a square foot. 2020, the board decided at $44 per square foot. And then yellow shows that the board went some in the corner cap. 2023, the board did not make a decision, but the assessor was 7% vacancy and 6.5 cap. And then Paramount, which shows the building age, etc., what the board decided. So the board cap rate is shown there in the column. So they went some of the quarter for 2020, 2023 are heard. But the values there were 49 per square foot, 46 for 2020, Weston 38, 41. Burmac built 1990, newer building. The board went with the 7% cap, 484 rent. $60 per square foot for 2018 and 65 for 2020. Soto, the board used these cap rates 6.75. Newer buildings, 1995, they came to $41 per square foot. 170 Soto, built 2021. The board was $85 per square foot. Yeah, so I have to take a drink. 55 Furniture Park across the street. You built the 6386 older building, but the board went $28 per square foot, 31 for 2021. Then we have a subject. We show the history. So 51st apartment from $32 per square foot to 41, 47. I went up to 55. So the Altus board revision, what we were asking was 42 per square foot, which is in line with the decisions above. 81st Park, the years were assessed at 40, 47, 59, 80. It went up quite high. Built 1998, very high per square foot. So the assessor increased the assessment quite high. Whitefish Park, it was also 2014 was 35, 46. 2018 was settled at 51 per square foot. 415 met. 2020 was 78. And now it's about the same thing, it's about 78. So we have about 2 years of assessments now, 2018 to 2020, under the goal, and I have these precedents to show that what I'm asking is very reasonable in relation to all the precedents. So back to our report. We have rent comparable, page 14. So we got all these rent comparables. We got 10. The lease starts to lease end. A lot of these buildings were Altus files. And I checked all the files to update the start date, etc. So we have some March 2020, a few of those are. So those are all updated rents. So those are large buildings, over 100,000 square feet. Average is 417. Comparable number 4, Furniture Park, that's the 170 itself with hut to wire. They show one of the comparables. So based on the above, we find the market rent 415 per square foot. The subject is single tenant owner occupied as of 2023. Vacancy, vacant loss, I have a lot of data. The page 17, the overall for the city, 3% includes owner occupied space. Single tenant shown overall 7.4%. These are for investment properties. So once they're out of the owner occupied space and they're put out for lease or for sale, they become the investment inventory. Multi-tenant investment overall 7.7. East Cologne 5.7. or 9.8, sorry. So the excessive vacancy is on the low side. We accept the shortfall rate. Non-recoverable expense, we continue to use 5 and 2% for structural. We have a special report for that. I don't want to spend too much time because we're not going to finish today. We accept the assessor's cap rate on this one, some 3.5. So the income approach, now you have to turn around and rotate your view. So we show all the information in red, when it was multi-tenant, what the vacancy was, etc. Now we show release, the gross and the expenses. So we had the expenses calculated. We came to unrecovered expense 259. So we get the net lease to Arctic 45,000 T51 was lower than 415 during market rent. RNN was higher, 641, so smaller space. But then we used 415, 414 overall by including no space. So as a multi-tenant space, it would be 10% vacancy. Now under the comments, April 2018, after in red, the vacancy was 14.5, 20,000, and 2020 was also 20,000, 14.5% vacancy. So for 2010, 2020, we're using higher multi-tenant and vacancy. And so we're using the same thing now. So if you use multi-tenant, you have to use a higher vacancy because it has a chronic vacancy, 14.5 after wire vacated. It says in red that it went bankrupt and vacated early August 2015. So the value comes to 5,798. We show the city parameters in red below. So we settled 6,988, which is higher than our value now. But it was a 415 rent with a low vacancy. Now we have a high vacancy. So that's a difference. The non-recoverable expense, if we could go quickly through that. A separate report we have on that. I don't know if you have that. We're saying we allow the 5%. What it's not management. It's the typical non-recoverable expenses. So the leasing expense, the TIs, all the expenses that they have that are not recovered from the tenants. So even when you have net leases, there's still a whole bunch non-recoverable expense. Our cap rates are calculated with this 5% non-recoverable expense. Then we have a whole bunch of comparables. We give the what their non-recoverable expense are as a percentage of the EGI. So it's quite high. So we have actual data to prove that. And we're saying that the cap rate would be something like a quarter to 0.4% higher if you did not have those expenses. So our cap rate would have to be adjusted higher. So we have the example, it would be 7.79 instead of 7.38, that's on page 14, which is 0.41%. So that's all I have on that particular report. I have the industrial cap rates report, but since we don't dispute cap rate this time, we're not going to present it this time. So I'll open for questioning.
Thank you, Mr. Dupont. Mr. Das Mohammed, do you have any questions?
Yes, I do. Mr. Dupont, on your page 14, your comparables. The subject has several different sizes of comparables, but yet, leasable areas, but your comparables that you chose are all over 100,000 square feet. And in fact, there's one that's 347 square feet. Can you explain why would you use those?
I'm using large buildings. This one happened to be partially leased out. It was either vacant or owner occupied. Sorry. So I'm using large comparables. I'm not going with small ones. The small ones, we have actuals in place. So I don't need comparables for that. We have actual rentals for those.
Would you say that a larger leasable area would rent for less per square foot than a smaller?
Yes. Yes, I would agree with that in principle.
Okay, so your comparables here are $4.17 on average, you're saying, and they're all large?
And that's for to value the subject properties that are owner occupied. And then I have the percentage owner occupied. So owner occupied is 61.
Is there a reason why you didn't provide any of the street addresses? I wasn't able to verify any of these comparables.
They're not released to the public. No, we provide those to the assessor if and when the assessor requests. And we did not provide to you. You did not request, but
But you note that on all our briefs that we always have a address on there. Is that correct?
You do, no, we don't unless it's been given publicly to the board. So we don't do that to our clients, but we provide those information, those addresses to the assessor when requested, so they can do rebuttal or check.
Okay, and this property is owner occupied. Is that correct?
As of 2023 and as of January 1st, 2022, yes.
But prior to that, there were spaces occupied by the owner?
Oh, yeah. Partly, yeah. They had only 2 spaces occupied by outside tenants, 54,000 square feet out of the 138 was rented out as
Okay,
of the
so,
reference date.
So they're related parties, non-arm's length parties. So would you say that Pallister Upholstery and the owner, whatever they charge, are market rents? Negotiated in good faith?
No, we should not rely on Pallister internal rents, no.
But yet in your workup, you said you have actual rents?
From Pallister?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they show actual rents on the questionnaires. We don't rely upon that.
Hey, and you've worked out unrecoverable expenses of $2.59. Where do you get that from?
From the questionnaires.
Okay, so if you look at your page, your appendix is not numbered. In your appendix, the 2020 December 31st, 2020 mailer, I guess that is if you're working from the back, that's 1, 2, 3. That's about the 6th page, I believe, from the back. You have your income and expense mailer from December 31st, 2020.
That's correct, yeah.
So the other expenses in there include interest, depreciation, amortization, and miscellaneous. Were those included in your calculation?
No, we always exclude those.
So your numbers here do not include those figures?
No, you do not, no.
Okay, and where are you getting your vacancy? Is that actual vacancy?
Yeah, I got that long email from Palliser, and we calculate the
Okay,
vacancy.
so,
and,
so that's not market vacancy then?
no, it's I showed the actual vacancy 14.5% for both April 1st, 2018 and April 1st, 2021. And I use lower than actual. I use 10%.
Okay, on your page 19 of your brief, this would fall into the district of Elmwood, according to the Johnson report. Is that correct?
I didn't check that part.
On page 19 of your brief.
I don't see a map there showing the.
No, on your page 19, you have excerpts from the Johnson report.
Yes.
And that indicates Elmwood, even they're indicating that the vacancy rate there would be 5.7%, which is much higher than what you're indicating.
And East Kelowna is 9.8. I'm going with site-specific vacancy.
Okay, and then
14.5%. I'm not going with a market vacancy. I'm going site-specific.
Okay. Okay, and then for your non-recovered expenses, you're going with market. Is that what you're saying? Your non-recoverable expenses, the 7%.
Oh, yeah.
And that's market based.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's based on the non-recoverable expense that we have. The city used to use the 5%. The city stopped using the 5%.
Okay, so you're going with actual rents, actual vacancy, and then market for the expenses. Is that correct?
Shortfall, non-recoverable is market. Actual rents are usually actual rents at $415 for the Palliser space.
So the evidence that you provided for the previous property, which was also fully owner occupied, you didn't use 7%. You agreed with our 3%. So I'm just wondering why you would use 7% now.
I was going to use it because normally we should do that for every industrial property, and I kept it simple because the main problem we had was your higher rents on new market.
But a 5% decrease in NOI would be quite big, would it not?
Or
say 4%.
You're saying the non-recoverable, if I use it for new market, would be 4% difference in value?
Well, I'm saying in one case you didn't use it. In this case, you're using it. But had you used it, you're trying to keep it simple for the other one. But it's a fairly big number that you would come out to.
Well, if you go municipal board, we'll likely use the 5% non-recoverable because we have to be consistent. But for the board of revision here, I made it simple. I didn't like the vacancy. I didn't like the fact that the office was included separately. I didn't like your non-recoverable, but I kept it simple. I went only with disputed rents because your rents were extremely high on that one.
Okay, can we keep the questions to this property? We've dealt with the other property. We're on 170 Park.
Okay, yeah, those are all the questions I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. McIntyre?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Mr. Tyrion?
Just a question of clarification here. And I hate going back, but on the 15-1 of the last appeal, you accepted 69.89. But Did you say today that basically the difference now is low vacancy versus high vacancy, that revised the figure to the one you presented today? Is that what you said?
Yes, so.
So I think you said it's mainly the low vacancy versus the high vacancy that is affecting
Well,
the value.
I should find out again. We did settle at 415 rent. I should check to see what, I'm sorry, basis of settlement right here. But yeah, we use 4% vacancy for the settlement. And we use 7% for cap rate.
Okay. And did you use the 415 on the square footage in the settlement?
Yeah, in the settlement, we also settled with the 5% management, which is the non-recoverable expense.
Yeah.
At that time, the assessor was using that, so we settled at that. Yeah, so there's 4% vacancy, and it was a 7% cap rate. That yeah.
So what's the vacancy rate now you're using? Is it 10%?
10, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The city treats it as multi-tenant, and as a multi-tenant, it has high vacancy.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you. That was it.
Sorry, Madam Chair, can I just ask one follow-up question?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Mr. Dupont, in your 2018 workup, you used a cap rate of 7%. And in your 2023, you're just matching our 7.35%. But in your opinion, have market cap rates increased or decreased?
I'm going with your cap rate. I'm not disputing it, and I don't think it's a valid question. I have to go back to see what the cap rates were over these years.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, and I have no questions either. Is there rebuttal evidence you're presenting, Mr. Dupont?
No, I'll wait till the rest is done.
Okay. Mr. Das Mohammed? Rebuttal evidence?
No, I don't have any. Thank you.
Okay. Is there a desire for summary, Mr. Das Mohammed?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Dupont?
The assessor faulted me for using 10% vacancy, said Elmwood was 5.7 and East Kelowna was 9.8, but they used 3%. So which would show that their vacancy part is too low.
Yeah.
That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Can I have a 2-minute break if somebody is at my door? I'm working from home.
Sure.
Okay,
Sure.
thank you. Oh, I thought you were knocking.
You can just click it there and you'll get back to the menu. This one there.
Track to finish by 12:30, Mr. Dupont, with your items?
I'm gonna slip out at 12:30.
Yeah, I gotta slip out. I
We're
could
back.
come back. I could come back at 2:30 if that works. Well, we probably can do one.
Okay, let's move to 80 Furniture Park. Mr. Das Mohammed, when you're ready.
Okay, Board of Revision file number 22-1291. Roll number 040028135000. Address is 80 Furniture Park. Roll year is 2023. Reference date is April 1st, 2021. Assessed value is $10,520,000. Number of buildings is 1. Number of premises is 1. Number of stories is 1. Actual year built and effective year built are both 1998. Wall height is 22 feet. Zoning is M2 manufacturing general. Land area is 121,315 square feet. Plan area is 119,978 square feet. Gross floor area and leasable area are both 131,603 square feet. Land to plan area is 1.01 to 1. On page appendix 1 is the map of the subject area. Again, it's the building is in the northeast quadrant of the city. Appendix 2 is the parcel, subject parcel boundaries. And then appendix 3 and 4 are overhead shots of the building. Again, this building is a it's fully owner occupied, and you can see that by the appendix 6 lease that's been provided. The tenant roll is right there. Gross rent is at $7.23. You'll just note on their income expense mailer there at the top, they include interest, depreciation, cleaning, and amortization all in one lump sum of $494,544. Well, when we are doing NOI, we don't include interest, depreciation, or amortization in that figure. So the NOI is a bit skewed, the way they have reported it. Page 3, there are my comparables. So all comparables are industrial properties. All leases are current in relation to the reference date. Year built ranges from 1966 to 1979. Average wall heights range from 14 feet to 31 feet. Leasable areas range at different intervals from approximately 101,000 square feet to 205,300 square feet. And net rents range from $4.98 to $6.15 per square foot. On the following page is my workup. So again, the leasable area here is quite large. It's 131,603 square feet. So if you were to look at my comparables again, we're not placing much weight on the last comparable, 1000 King Edward Street, the unit number 7. I just put that in there because it's hard to come by large comparables, but I just wanted something in there, and it does match the rents that we have included. So we're utilizing a net rental rate of $5.56 per square foot, utilizing a 3% vacancy loss, allowing for 3% non-recoverable expense, $3.85 for vacancy shortfall. This results in an NOI of $673,269. We're utilizing a cap rate of 6.4%. This amounts to a rounded capitalized value and assessed value of 10,520,000 square feet. Again, I won't go through the external industry reports. We know that the market in Q4 2020 and the beginning of 2021 was strong and robust. So given the strong state of the industrial market over the last number of years and the strong forecast for the foreseeable future, I believe that the assessed value of $10,520,000 to be fair and equitable, and I respectfully ask that the board confirm this value. And I'm open to questions.
Thank you, Mr. Das Mohammed. Mr. Dupont?
The subject first page, the land area is almost the same as the plan area. And actually,
it's half of the other one. It's 50% less.
So it's 1.01 is the land plan area.
Yes.
So would you agree that should require a downward adjustment in your rent because of this negative feature?
Again, manufacturing general does not require, according to the zoning, manufacturing general M2. As I read out the definition, I'll just read it again.
No, I don't need to know what the zoning is.
Okay, so
But your comparable rents that you have, are any of those with the low land building ratio?
I couldn't tell you offhand. I'm sorry, I didn't put that in there. But again, M2 manufacturing general, it only requires some limited outside operations and storage.
Now the cap rates that you have is page 6. Under industrial.
Mhm.
So you have 4 categories: single, tenant A, then you have industrial A, industrial B. Where does subject fit there?
Well, I would say this is a single tenant.
A or B? You don't have a single
Well,
tenant B.
they're all the same anyway, so we've only broken this out because the other people in the industry are doing it, but our cap rates are usually just one cap rate, so they range from 5.55 to 7.45. That's the 20th to 80th percentile. There will be some on the outside ranges, but 80%, between 20 and 80% are located between 5.5% and 7.45%.
So based on Colliers, CBRE, and Cushman, your 6.4% is on the low end. Would you agree with that?
It's in the middle.
You use 7.35 for 170 Furniture Park, and 7.45 for 50 Furniture Park. Do you know why you're 1% lower?
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
You use 7.35% for 170 Furniture Park
Yes.
and 6.45 for 50 Furniture Park. Do you know why you're 1% lower for this one versus the other two?
Well, I think this is a newer building. It was built in 1998.
And so that accounts for the full 1 year, 1% difference.
That would be one of the reasons. It's also based on age, condition.
Do you have the amount of office in this building?
No, we're valuing it as one lease.
Yeah. Do you have the office percentage?
No, I don't.
So condition, you don't even know how much there's office percentage.
Oh, it's manufacturing light, so it's considered a manufacturing plant. I would assume. I'm assuming all manufacturing plants have some office space.
And no further questions.
Thank you very much. Mr. McIntyre?
I'm just looking at the site plan on page 11 of your appendix. Is this building split in half based on the, it looks like it's one building, but is this part being assessed separately from the other adjacent?
Sorry, are you looking at page appendix 11 on the other evidence? Or
No, it's actually your appendix 4.
Oh,
My page 11 when I scroll through it.
sorry.
It's an aerial view of the building.
Yes, yes. So I'm not sure why the owner hasn't asked for an amalgamation on this whole complex. As I think it might bring down taxes or assessment at least if it was one whole unit.
But it looks like it was all built at the same time.
No, this one was built in 1998. So I'm not sure why it's on a different roll.
Okay, that was just, it seems to be a strange division of the property, but in any event.
Yeah, I have seen that and I do agree with you. Yes.
Okay, that was my only question. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Tyrion?
No, I have no questions. Thank you.
Okay, and neither do I. So Mr. Dupont, whenever you're ready.
Just a point, Madam Chair, at 12:30.
Oh, yes.
I've got to leave to feed my meter. So at 12:30, I'm out of here for 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay,
And I think Mr.
okay,
Duke
and I
wants
think,
to leave anyway. So at
Right,
12:30, I'm out. I'll be
Right.
back.
you'll be back. Okay, that's good. Okay. I'm watching the clock.
All right, my first page, it shows the assessment 10,000,005. We're asking for 6,000,004. You've had the records of the assessment, which on the last two pages. The assessment went with some really big increases in the past, and those appeals are outstanding municipal board for 2018, 2020. So they went very high. Now they have to come back down for 3 years or 3 assessments. I'm sorry. So we property description, page 7. So part of the building is on the lot next door. So the land building ratio is low, and the building next door is low. And maybe we should ask it be merged together. And I should probably do a land building ratio for the two properties put together, because land building ratio on the other one is inaccurate because you have building from the one next door. But both of them have low land building ratio. So the income approach, so we start marking rents, page 13. Same rent comparables I have from the previous property. Those are large properties, and they come to 417 per square foot. Comparable number 4 was 170 furniture park itself, when it's rented to Hunt Wire. So that we are now giving a rent of 425 per square foot, slightly higher than the previous lease with Hunt Wire and 170. Vacancy, we have the same information. So the overall vacancy 3% includes owner occupied space. When you go investment, they're high, either 5.7 or 9.8, whether it's East Kelowna or Elmwood. I believe Elmwood would be too small to be reliable. Cap rate on this one, we use 7% instead of the assessor 6.4. We have a cap rate report. I don't know if I have time to go through that. We use a non-recoverable expense 5 and 2. That's been a non-recoverable report previously presented. So the income approach, next page, should be used 425 per square foot. We use 7% vacancy. The shortfall we don't dispute. We use 5% non-recoverable, and 2% for other. The assessor is 3%. So overall, the assessor is 3%, and overall for the two we're 7. Cap rate is 7. We show the cap rates from Collier, CBRE, Cushman on this page. Then at the bottom, we show the assessment, previous assessment. So this assessment assesses 556 rent, 6.4 cap. 2020 there was 513 rent and 6% cap. Vacancy was 2.5. The board revision confirmed. We were 4 rent, 4 vacancy, and 7 cap, with the municipal board. 2018, the rent was 445. The check cap, 4 vacancy. There was no reduction, and we're at the municipal board. The assessment was 7.2. And the last 2 pages, or last page actually, I have to rotate. So 2014 is sort of 6,073,000. 2016 went up to 7,695, non-appeal. Then it jumped quite high to 9,013,000. Then with 10.4 and 10.9. So they had a large jump back in 2018. I believe all three properties were the same, had large jumps in 2018. That's my report. I have to give the cap rate. If you don't mind, I give the cap rate study now.
Yeah,
So the cap rate study shows there. Now we should skip a few pages. We go vacancy, etc. And we show the Cushman and Colliers cap rates on the page. Oh, and a number or number up top. Yeah, they're not numbered. Sorry about that. Middle of the report, we have 6 cap rates. Debates, built 1990, 6.5. Keyway Burrows, 6.94. Keek and Sherwin, 6.94. Logan, 6.36. Slate Portfolio, 7.87. Church Avenue, 6.81. So from that, we, oh, sorry, those were industrial. So our B investments were 7 to 7.75, and we use 7%. And then we show how our cap rates arrived for each of those. And we used a 5% non-recoverable and 2% other for the calculation cap rate. So if we did not use the 5% non-recoverable, our cap rate would be 0.4% higher. So that's my report.
thank you. Mr. Das Mohammed, do you have any questions of Mr. DuPont's presentation?
Yes, I do. Thank you. Mr. DuPont, you're using the same comparables here that you utilized for 170 Furniture Park?
Yes.
But in Furniture Park, you utilize a rent of $4.14, and now you're utilizing $4.25.
You're slightly newer, yeah.
Okay. And is that why your cap rate increased also from 7.35 to 7%?
Yes.
And in regard, you mentioned the 2020 board revision confirmed the value at $10,546,000, but that's not at the municipal board, is it?
Oh, yes, yeah.
You don't indicate that down at on the bottom there of your page 20.
It says Altus 2020, our value. Then it says at MBM.
So yeah,
Right.
so 2018 is at the municipal board. Oh, sorry. Okay.
The line right above that says
Yeah,
at
sorry.
MBM.
Sorry. Yes. Okay, I have no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. McIntyre, do you have any questions?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Tyrion?
No, thank you. I'm okay.
Okay. And I have no questions either, so I don't think we're going to be able to get through for Mr. DuPont, item number 8, 50 Furniture Park in the next 5 minutes. So, Ms. Rojo, do we have options for that? Or do we know what our options might be? I thought I heard Mr. DuPont say he could reconvene at 2:30 to hear it, but I'm not sure if that's the case or if that's even possible.
That is up to the panel. If you guys are available to come back for 2:30, then we can continue and finish our docket today.
Or the other option is it will be rescheduled.
to the next docket of the assessor, I believe. It would
Okay.
get added on to the next docket.
I'm fine with coming back at 2:30.
As am I.
And what about the panel? How do we feel about that?
Madam Chair, with all due respect, if we could recess for 5 minutes to discuss this.
Sure, we can do that. Yeah. So if everybody would just sort of sit tight.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Sorry, in regards to the other two.
You're live.
Okay, I'd like to call the meeting back to order. So we're not going to have time to deal with 50 Furniture Park, item number 8 on our docket. So that item will be adjourned to August 14th at 9 a.m.
October 14th.
in August, not August, October 14th, 9 a.m. Boardroom A to deal with that matter. Okay, if you can note that in your calendars. And then we will recess now until 1 o'clock when we'll reconvene and Mr. Das Mohammed will deal with the remaining items on the docket at 1 o'clock. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay.
Good, thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. And thank you, Mr. DuPont.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Lynn.
Okay. I gotta go plug in.
No, you can't. This is done and it's free to go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is it a refer? ARIFUR?
We are live.
Good afternoon. I'd like to call this meeting back to order. We had 2 items on our docket that we moved to the back. File number 221259, 1475 Clarence Avenue, and file number 221265, 711 Kernahan Avenue. These 2 remaining items on the docket have been withdrawn, given an agreement between the assessor and the property owner under section 15.1 of the Municipal Assessment Act. So having said that, then we have heard all the items scheduled and this hearing is now adjourned. Thank you very much, Mr. Assessor.
Thank you very much.